Welcome to my April 20th video update. I'm a little behind in getting this episode recorded and posted because over this past weekend we were taking care of our two youngest grandchildren, 2 and 5, and they're a handful. And then while we had them here, we had a tornado touchdown just a quarter of a mile from our house. So it was a little bit of a storm, and power was out for probably 48 hours. And that kind of put a damper on things in some ways. So, to the title of this episode, I'm getting rid of my smooth cue already, and actually it is just a couple days over 1 year since I received the Zhiyun smooth cue. And just a side note, the pronunciation of this company name, everybody tries to pronounce it as best they can. Those of us who are not Chinese or don't speak Chinese have a little bit of an issue with it, and normally we come out with something like Zhiyun. It's Z-H-I-U or Z-H-I-Y-U-N, and so we try to pronounce it phonetically, and that's apparently not correct. The basic filmmaker was interviewing a rep from the company at the National Broadcasting Conference that was just held last week, I think it was, and had a phonetic representation that it's really sort of chewing. So chewing smooth cue is what this is, but I've decided to buy the Smooth 4, the newest version of this, the upgrade to it, which has a lot of kind of convincing features that make it appealing. The one problem with the Smooth 4 is it doesn't come with a cool case like this one does. My case is over there someplace, like a little violin case. And that's really handy for being able to carry it over your shoulder if you're not actually using it. As I said, I really am starting to get the hang of this and am trying to use it more. And I know I keep saying that, but I really am. I don't know that the Smooth 4 is going to be, be an improvement for me or what, but it has some features that are very cool. And so what are those features that would make me decide to sell this? And if you would like to buy it, let me know. And buy the new Smooth 4. The Smooth 4 has a feature called Phone Go. And it basically is a mode you can put the gimbal into so that you can do fast movements if you were tracking somebody playing a sport or dogs running or some fast action. That might be somewhat useful. I don't know that I'll really do that because I'm not really making films. So I don't have people running through my scenes. I'm usually more, as I've said before, a one-man show, and if there are other features that are more useful to me than that, but that's kind of a nice thing. Another thing that I really like, one of the things I really like is it comes with a little tripod, or with tripod legs, and so and it fits in the case that the Smooth 4 comes in. So that's I think going to be very useful because I usually have to take the legs off of the stand that I'm using now, for example, or one of my other little tripods if I want this to stand up on its own. Probably the coolest feature that's in this new model is the wheel on the side that allows you to, it has two functions apparently, being able to let you pull focus. So if you have it in the focus mode, and there's a button on the control panel that lets you do that, you can focus with that ring, that little wheel rather. If you push the button on the control panel again, then it will go into what is a zoom mode, which that's something to really be avoided with smartphone cameras usually. But for this effect called vertigo, which I'm just learning about, it is a feature that allows you to create that vertigo effect. And I'll put a link to some demonstrations of that other people have made. And this is not, I'm not reviewing this. I don't even have it yet. I ordered it on the 9th, I believe, and it's supposed to have been released today to outlets. And Adorama is telling me that they expect to have it and ship it on May 1st. So I won't have this for a couple weeks, but I'm just watching videos of people that have had pre-production or early releases of the product. And then most of these features that I'm talking about are ones that I'm reading from the either a product description on the website, on the Zhiyun website, or from places like Adorama. There's referred to as a motor force boost and 210 gram payload capability. So presumably I should be able to use my Ollie clip mounted on my smartphone or my iPhone 7 Plus and be able to balance it. And I haven't been able to do that with the Smooth Q. So that'll be nice if I can use that. I really only use the wide angle Ollie clip lens, even though I have the fisheye, I think, as well, and the close-up lens. So another feature is what is called a clip up. And basically there's a clip back in here on the back that lets you snap this in, and it holds it. And from what I'm reading, it sounds as though you could leave the gimbal on. So that will be really handy for when you're carrying this around. It won't swing back and forth like this does. You know, this has no way to be secured, and with that clip it will be secured, and so therefore it's a little bit easier to carry. One of the things I haven't checked is it much bigger than this? I mean, is it longer or taller than the Smooth Q? Should probably check that. And I'll put a note as to its height compared to this when I put this video together. And another feature is a one-click, an intuitive, they say, one-click mode switch, which is one of the problems with this is you're never really quite sure what mode you're in. What I end up often doing is turning it off and turning it back on again, so I know it's in I believe the initial mode is the follow mode, meaning that you move this, it stays with wherever you want the camera to be pointing, and then you double click and it goes to another mode, and double click and go another click and it goes to another, and I'm never sure where that is. I don't think there's still an indicator on the control panel as to which mode you're in, but perhaps there is. One thing there is, though, is there's a visible 4 LED strip that shows you where you are with your battery. And it's supposed to have, this was supposed to have 12 hours of battery life, and I think that's fairly consistent with my experience. And the new one, the Smooth 4, is supposed to have 10 hours, and some people have said 12 hours. But at least with that indicator, you can tell that your battery, how much percentage by 25%, 25%, 25%, how much battery life you have left. And several times I've taken this out of a case and went to use it, and the battery was dead. And if that light was on, I could check it to make sure that it's not dead, and or if it just needs a little bit of a boost or a little bit of a charge. It has the same thing that this does that I never use, where you can charge your iPhone while you're using it on here. Other nice feature is that the control panel, which is quite more elaborate than the one on the Smooth Q, for the control panel for the Smooth 4 allows you to actually control the Zhiyun Play app. I prefer to use Filmic Pro, but there could be occasions when I'd like to be able to use that zoom feature, for example. And when you're recording with the Zhiyun Play app, then you can control the app totally from the control panel and that zoom and focus wheel, and you're not touching the screen at all, and that's nice. So that'll be fun to experiment with. So all in all, I'm quite excited to receive this, and it'll be coming at a time when the weather's going to be nice and I can be outside. And that brings me to the point that I've been able to go outside with the Spark drone a little bit more, and actually I haven't used it enough because of the inclement weather and the cold weather. And so therefore, last time I took it out and I was trying to show it to our older grandchildren, and I'd forgotten how to use certain parts of it. And one of the things I never did with this Spark drone is use the gesture control. And our 17 and 19-year-old granddaughters were pretending that they were controlling it when I was controlling it with the controller. And so they would really enjoy that gesture control of the drone. So I've got to learn how to use that. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more next week. So thank you very much for checking in on this episode of Video Updates, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. And hopefully we'll have no more tornadoes. Bye.